Magyanachamandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
I was born in the darkest ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisance unto him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Joy. Okay, so we're continuing our reading of Bhagavad Gita from chapter 8, entitled Attaining the Supreme, text number 6. So these are famous verses from Bhagavad Gita that Prabhupada often talked about these verses, quoted from these verses, and also other devotees often use these verses when they're preaching. Very good verses for when you're preaching, because it's a very important subject. Like, what is your consciousness at the time of death? That determines where you go in your next life. That's established in these, and the one we did last week, text 5, and this one. Last week, text 5 is telling that Krishna's saying, if you remember me when you die, when you quit the body, then you're going to come to me. So you're going to go back to Godhead. You're going to go back to Godhead. And this verse today says, whatever you remember when you die, that's where you're going to go in your next life. So whatever you remember, you're going to attain that state. So if you remember a woman when you die, you probably become a woman in the next life. If you remember a man, you become a man. And like Prabhupada said, you know, if a Hindu hates Muslims and a Muslim hates Hindu, then the Hindu will become a Muslim, the Muslim will become a Hindu, because that's what he's thinking about. When he dies or whatever, then that's what it become. And we know from the Bhagavatam that Bharat Maharaj remembered a deer, and the next life you became a deer, you know. So whatever you're in your mind when you die, then very commonly that's what will be.
That can become any time.
Sure.
It would not tell you certain date and times. Okay, it'll be 24th of December, 6 o'clock. Maybe I'll take it at 4th, 6 o'clock, open the Bhagavad Gita, death is coming, I'll remember the Krishna. So remember Krishna all the time, because that can happen anytime.
Yeah. There's one lovely verse by, thank you, by a famous king named Kulashekar. Thank you, Jayanti. Kulashekar. Krishna Tvadiya Parapankaja Panjarantam Adyayvame Vasadu Manasaraja Hamsa Prana Prayana Samaye Kafavata Pittai Kantavarodana Vido Smaranam Kutaste. So what that means is that he's saying, may the swan of my mind, he's comparing his mind to a swan, may the swan of my mind enter the lotus stems of your the lotus stems of your feet. So Krishna's feet are compared to a lotus, right? A lotus petal, a lotus flower. Krishna's feet are compared to a lotus flower, and the swan, this is the habit of the swan, will be taking the nectar out of the a lotus flower. So his mind is compared to the lotus flower, and Krishna's feet are compared to the lotus. The swan and the lotus flower. And he's saying, may the swan of my mind enter into your lotus feet now, while that I'm in good health. May it happen now, because if I wait till like the regular time, old age, and then death happens, at that time of death later in life, my voice might be choked up with kapha, with the mucus. My voice might be choked up with mucus, and at that time I won't be able to chant your name. So he's saying in this verse, while I'm in good health now, may I die now. So that's pretty sincere, because not many people are happy to die right away. Most of us want to stretch it out to the maximum extent. But like he's presenting in that verse, and you're saying it's risky, you know, we don't know when we're going to die. At that time, we might not be able to, you know, chant or remember him like that. So he's saying, let me die now while I'm in good health, and then I can chant your name and think of you like that. So that's a very interesting thing. So he obviously understands that this principle, that what you think at the time of death, that's very important. That determines where we're going to go. That's very essential. We try to be Krishna conscious at that time. But as we talked about, that there is a plan B,
Which is?
You remember? Plan A is that we think of Krishna when we die, and then we'll go to Krishna. That's plan A. But if that doesn't work out, if we, for some reason, like we're in a car accident or we die in our sleep or have a heart attack or whatever, and we're not thinking of Krishna, our voice is choked up with mucus and we can't chant or whatever, then what's plan B?
Krishna will come. You mentioned that. He will.
Yeah, then if we can't think of Krishna, then Krishna can think of us.
Yes.
And that plan B is better than plan A, because plan A is like 50-50 or not even 50-50. Yeah. But plan B is like 100%.
100%, yeah.
Because Krishna, his memory is never going to be affected by Alzheimer's or anything. You know, so definitely he won't have any trouble to think of us and to remember us. And why would he bother to remember us? Because he loves us. You know, he loves everyone, but especially he loves his devotees. If you've spent, whether it's, you know, 1 time or 100 times or 1,000 times, if you've chanted his names, if you've talked about him, listened about his glories, distributed his prasadam, distributed his books, blah, 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 you know, done any service, 9 processes, done deity worship, gone to Jagannath Puri, pulled the Rath Yatra cart, like that, all these things, he remembers all of that, you know, and he'll give us the credit for that, you know, so he's very grateful. Krishna's not like us. We, you know, ordinary mortals, we tend to be ungrateful for whatever service is done for us. Isn't it like we take it for granted, like that we have water to drink? We don't think that Indra is giving us the water, and thank you, Indra, for giving us the water. Or we don't think, well, oh, thank you, Suryadev, for giving us sunshine, or thank you, Gomata, for giving me milk, or, you know, thank you, you know, so many things. But we tend to be ungrateful, take everything for granted. But Krishna's not like that. He's very grateful for anyone that renders service to him like that. And he wants to reciprocate. And how he reciprocates is taking the devotee back to Godhead. So yeah, plan B is heaps better than plan A. But still, we can't just depend on plan B. Yeah. You can't depend on plan B and you don't care to try to do plan A. Because Krishna knows, you know, you're not sincere. You have to try your best to chant and remember him and everything like that. So you try your best. And if for some reason that your best is not enough, then Krishna will fill in the gap. Krishna will fill in the gap. Just like, you know, we know the Damodar Lila, when Mother Yashoda tried to tie Krishna up, but she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. And Krishna filled the gap. Yeah, Krishna took care of the rest. But the principle is you have to give your best endeavor. And if your best endeavor isn't enough, then Krishna's mercy will fill in the gap. But Krishna's mercy doesn't come if you don't try to achieve it. You have to try your best. I mean, you're not going to get Krishna's mercy if your whole life you sit on the couch and think that God's going to save you or whatever. You have to do yourself, you know, your best effort like that. Yeah. And even the Bible says that, you know. Like one quote in the Bible says, one verse says, faith without works is dead. The Christians never quote that one. They just say that you have to believe in Jesus and then it doesn't matter what you do. But there's more to it than that. So like that verse says, you know, faith without works is dead. So you have to do some work. You can't, not do any work and just think that God's going to, just believe in God and He's going to do the rest.
Even the new age, there's like, they were saying the action leads the results. You have to do some action, that's you're going to get the results. If you do some seva in the temple, result will come. Action leads the, if you don't do any action, no results.
Yeah. However, we would clarify that our actions also by themselves is not enough for us to be completely successful, because we're so weak, we're so small. So just by our own effort, our own endeavors, that's also not enough to get back to Godhead. We need some mercy. Yeah. So both. The best is to combine our effort, our endeavor, and Krishna's mercy combined. That's perfect. Yes. But one without the other is not complete. We have to have both.
It's like when you really want that to see the plant, and then the rain will happen, sun will shine there, and the flower will sprout. Because if you really want that, I want to grow that flower to make a flower garland for Krishna.
Yeah.
And put the seed there, rain will happen, sun will shine.
Yeah.
Because you're making the flower garland for Krishna.
Krishna's helping.
That's right.
Okay, so let's read this verse, text 6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam.
Yam yam vapi swaram bhavam.
Tajat yante kalevaram.
Tajayante kalevaram.
Tam tam mevaiti kunteya.
Tam tam vayati kunteya.
Sada tadbhava bhavita.
Sada tadvava bhavata.
Okay.
Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail.
Yeah, so the most important time in our life is the time when we die.
Yes.
That's the most. Other times are not so important, but whatever we're doing, but this particular time of death, what we're remembering when we quit this body, that's what's going to determine where we go in the next life.
Whatever you do entire your life, flashback will come on the time of the death, and you remember that. If you enjoy your life, if you're busy in business about the shop, profit and all that, and loss for that, this is my share market and things. So end of the life, it'll come that. It cannot come Mahamantra in my mouth, in your mouth, because entire life, if you did entire life, like you and Kalya Prabhu, entire your life, you're saying, Krishna association and the preaching and all, end the life, end of that definitely will come. So it's pretty much flashback for the whole life. So,
talking about flashback reminds me one time Prabhupada was explaining how it is that, because it's mentioned that if one attends the Rath Yatra even once, then one will get liberated, go back to Godhead. So Prabhupada explained the details of how that works. How is it simply that by going to Rath Yatra even once, then one can go back to Godhead? How does that work? Because of course, that might have happened earlier in life, and later in life one might be in Maya, one might go off track and do so many things, and one could highly likely be thinking about other things at the time of death. So how is that still working, that one can go back to Godhead? So Prabhupada said that what you said, that at the time of death, the mind flashes back over all the things in one's life. And So that's like a reel in the movie, right? You got all the different slides. So, you know, you see, oh, when you went to school, you're seeing that, and then when you got your girlfriend, and when you got married, and when you got your job, and blah blah blah. And then when it comes to the slide of when you went to the Rath Yatra, Prabhupada said that Krishna stops it on that one. So the movie stops there, and then you die. So that's Krishna's mercy, that he's giving you that credit, you know, that you attended the Rath Yatra, and that Krishna arranges that flashback of your life stops at the Rath Yatra. It doesn't go beyond that. You might have attended the Rath Yatra when you were 40 and you died when you were 80. But that flashback over your life, Prabhupada indicated that by Krishna's mercy, that flashback stops at 40 when you hit the Rath Yatra, and then that's it. You died. You die at that point of remembering that. So then you've fulfilled that criteria, right, in text 5, that if when you quit your body, you remember me, Krishna's saying you come to me. So that's Krishna's manipulating that process, that whatever you're flashing back over stops at that point of you're seeing the smiling face of Jagannath, and then blah, you die. But that's mercy, because ordinarily, right, say if you hadn't had that experience, the flashback would have continued right through to when you're 80, right? But that's Krishna's mercy, that he stops it at the best point in your life. At the one time in your life when you did something good, Krishna stopped it there. He didn't let it go on to all the crap you did later on. He just stopped it at that good point. And that's mercy. You know, that's the mercy of Lord Jagannath, that he's so merciful and kind to want us to bring us back to Godhead. He'll just take the one good thing we've done and he'll overlook all the bad things. And that's mercy. You know, that we've done thousands or millions of bad things, rotten things, but he'll just take, oh, one time you attended Rath Yatra and pulled the rope. Okay, that's enough. That's good enough. Okay, come back to Godhead. That's so kind, you know, that's so kind. You know, and many times Prabhupada would just be talking similarly about Lord Chaitanya, and he would just say, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they're so kind, so kind. Like now we're coming up to Nityananda's appearance day soon. Actually, Advaitacharya's appearance day is tomorrow, Advaitacharya. And, you know, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati. So Advaitacharya's appearance day is tomorrow, and then soon after is Nityananda. And then in a month or so from now is Lord Chaitanya. But he was talking about Lord Chaitanya, and he said he's so kind, so kind. He started crying and he couldn't speak anymore. So that we're so lucky that we've come in contact with these great personalities that are just so kind, so merciful, like Advaitacharya, Lord Nityananda, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jagannath.
Came in the mood of Radharani or mood of devotee?
Yeah, well, the greatest devotee is Radharani, and Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Radharani. So who is the greatest devotee? So both is correct. He's in the mood of a devotee. He's in the mood of the greatest devotee, you know, Radharani. And she's very soft-hearted, very kind, very soft-hearted. So yeah, we're very fortunate to be aspiring servants of Lord Chaitanya.
That's in Vrindavan. If you talk to a rickshaw driver, anyone, everyone say that Radhe Radhe.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. They say Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe.
Yeah.
So if Radha's happy, Krishna's happy.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
so you can start reading the purport, yeah.
The process of changing one's nature at the critical moment of the death is here explained. A person who at the end of his life quits his body thinking of Krishna attains the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord, but it is not true that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains the same transcendental state.
Okay.
This is the point we should note very carefully. How can one die in the proper state of mind? Maharaja Bharat, although a great personality, thought of a deer at the end of his life. And so his next life, he was transformed into a body of deer. Although as a deer, he remembered his past activity, he had to accept the animal body. Of course, one's thoughts during the course of one's life accumulate to influence one's thoughts at the moment of death. So this life creates one's next life. Life in one's present, and if in one's present life, one lives in the mode of goodness and always think of Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. That will help one be transformed to a transcendental nature of Krishna. If one is transcendentally absorbed in Krishna's service, then his next body will be transcendental, spiritual, not material. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is the best process for successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life.
So, a point that Prabhupada makes in the beginning is that it's not that, because some people say that, you know, that, oh, my grandmother died and she went to God, to heaven, and, you know, my brother died, he went to heaven, and my nephew died and he went to heaven. So people have that impersonal kind of idea that it doesn't really matter what you do, what you think of, everyone goes to the same place. But Prabhupada's pointing that out in the beginning here when he says, but it is not true that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains the same transcendental state. So that's not true. If you think of Krishna, you go to Krishna. If you think of Shiva, you'll go to Shiva. If you thought of Ganesh, you'll go to Ganesh. If you think of Hitler, you might go to wherever Hitler is, like that, probably hell or whatever, so like that. So it's not that everyone goes to the same place. And we can read a verse that talks about that idea that whoever you worship, that it's to that person that you go to. It's not that everyone goes to the same place. So that's in later on in the 9th chapter.
It's the same as if you take a flight to Italy, you'll go to Italy. You're not going to go to the United States, would you?
That's right. But some so-called sadhus and gurus in the history of India said otherwise. They said, like, Yatumat Tatupat, that everyone goes to the same place and everything like that. But that's not correct, according to Krishna here. So, yeah, 9th chapter, text 25.
9:25. Yeah. Those who worship the demigod will birth among the demigods. Those who worship to ancestors go to ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and the spirit will take birth among such things. And those who worship me will live with me.
So that's very clear. You can't say that everyone goes to Krishna, everyone goes to Vaikuntha. No, it depends what you're thinking, what you're worshipping. That's going to determine where you go. It's like that. Not everyone goes to the same place. So when pseudo Christians say that everyone goes to heaven, it's not actually correct. It's a very sentimental idea. Of course, we would like everyone to go upwards. We would like everyone to progress, everyone to go upwards. But practically it's not like that, because some people's activities are, you know, taking them downwards and so forth, or coming back. And there's another verse that talks about that kind of thing. Where's that verse, Johnny? Udvam Gachanti Sattvasta. Udvam Gachanti Sattvasta. So that's so because I can't remember where it is, but I remember the first line, so I can look in the back of the book, index of Sanskrit verses, and I can look at that Urdhva, because I remember the first line, Urdhva Sattvastam. Urdhvam Sattvasta. So I look for Urdhva. Urdhvam Sattvasta. Urdhvam Sattvasta. Okay, here it is. Urdhvam. Urdhvam. Oh, yeah, Gachanti Sattvasta. 14.8. Yeah, so, oh, sorry, 14.18. 14.18. Yeah, which is the chapter, 14th chapter is the three modes of material nature. So, yeah.
Those who traded in the mode of goodness gradually go upwards to the higher planet. Those who mode of passion lives in the earthly planet. Those who are in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish world.
Yeah. So this is the reality, you know. We like to think that, oh, you know, all my family goes upward, but it depends. Are they in the mode of goodness? Yeah, they'll go upwards. If they're in the mode of passion, then they come back to the earth. And if they're in the mode of ignorance, they go down to hell. You know, so it depends what modes are we in. That's the main thing. What mode of nature are you in? Are you in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance? So that's going to determine whether you go up or come back same place or down.
What do you think where the Hiranyakashipu gone to?
Well, that's different, because that's Krishna's Leela. He's in Krishna's Leela. So he's coming to perform some pastimes, and then he's going to return. So even before he left, even before Jai and Vijay left Vaikunta, the doorkeepers, it was told to them they would come to the material world only for 3 lifetimes.
Okay.
For 3 lifetimes. The choice was given, you can come to the material world for 3 births as demons or 7 births as devotees. So they wanted to come back quickly, so they chose 3 births as demons. And Krishna wanted to fight. Krishna wanted to fight with them, so they were performing a service. That was their service, to fight with Krishna. And actually, when they realized that, so the first birth, they fought with Varaha and Nrsingadev. That Hiranyaksha fought with Varaha, and Hiranyakashipu fought with Nrsingadev. So that was the first birth. The second birth was Shishupala, and he fought with Krishna.
No, second one was Ravana and...
Oh, sorry, yeah. Second birth was Ravana and Kumbhakarna. So they fought with Rama.
Yeah.
And then the third birth was Shishupala and Dantavakra. And they fought with Krishna. And then they heard that Krishna was going to incarnate again in a very special form as Lord Chaitanya. So then actually it said they took a 4th birth. So that wasn't part of the plan, but it said that they took a 4th birth as Jagai and Madai.
Yeah.
And then they would have gone back to Godhead. You know, so, and that was nothing to do whether in the mode of goodness, ignorance, or passion or anything. That was just they came to enter into some pastimes, and they were personally associating with Krishna. There's no doubt, you know, if you're personally associating with Krishna, then very quickly you're going to go back to Godhead. Because you're going to become purified. Even if you were a full-on demon, you're going to become purified. Like it said that, you know, all those soldiers on the Battle of Kurukshetra, which I think there was 64 crores that died. I think in those 18 days, I think there was about 64 crores.
Planet.
That's far more people dead than World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, everything all put together.
All that for last 10,000 years, that will be equal.
Yeah. So, but it said because they died in the presence of Krishna, they either went back to Godhead or got elevated to heaven, but nobody went down and nobody came back to earth. Everyone went upwards because they died in the presence of Krishna.
He can die in front of Krishna. That's you'd be like, you know, I don't think so. You and me would be there, but very special people dying in front of Krishna. Whoa.
Yeah. And like I think in the next day or two is Bhishmastami. So that's the day that Bhishma Dev left. And that was what he wanted to do. He wanted to die in front of Krishna. Yeah. So even when he was shot with so many arrows in the Battle of Kurukshetra, but he didn't die because he had a benediction that he could choose when he died. Yeah, so that's on Saturday. Saturday is Bhishmastami, the day that Bhishma Dev left. So he could choose when he died. So his choice was to die looking at Krishna's face. He wanted to be looking at Krishna's face when he died.
So he'll definitely will go to Krishna Loka.
Oh yeah. And just see, you know, that how long he was lying on that battlefield filled up with arrows, because he was lying on a bed of arrows. It means his body was shot full of arrows. Because when was the Battle of Kurukshetra? That was December. And now when he's passing away, it's the middle of February. Yeah. So that's how long he was lying there, just waiting for the moment where he could be looking at Krishna's face and leave his body. So that's like 2.5 months, 3 months. Yeah. He was waiting for that time when Krishna was there, you know. And he also utilized that time also to
eating or drinking.
What's that?
Without any eating or drinking, water, nothing?
Oh no, he did have water in that. Actually, one time Bhishma said, when he was lying on that bed of arrows, he said, "I'm very thirsty." So people offered to bring him water. He said, "No, I want Arjuna to get me the water." So what Arjuna, he pulled his bow and arrow and fired one Varunastra, one water weapon, and it went into the ground. He shot it into the ground, and out came a fountain of water, and that fountain landed in Bhishma Dev's mouth. Wow. So what an amazing act, you know. So what's that?
Was his favorite.
Yeah. That's right. But yeah, so he did drink and stuff, but he also utilized that time to give very good instructions to Yudhisthira, and that's recorded in the first canto of Bhagavatam, the instructions that Bhishma Dev gave. They're so amazing, you know, so amazing. And he gave instructions like how to be a king, especially, because that's what Yudhisthira, remember, he was going to become the emperor of the world. So he instructed him how to execute his dharma as a Raja, as a Maharaja, like that. And also Yudhisthira was so disturbed after the battle was over because he thought those 64 crores died just for him so that he could be on the throne. For him to be on the throne, all those 64 crores died. So he felt so much burden of responsibility for the death of so many millions and millions and millions and millions of people. So Bhishma Dev helped to pacify him, and he felt so much relieved after hearing those instructions of Bhishma Dev. And then, of course, in due course, like on Saturday, he left his body looking at the face of Krishna, and there's no doubt where he went upwards, for in that time.
Actually, the Vishnu Sahasranama still comes in that name. I'm not sure whether it was said by Bhishma spoke it or, but the Vishnu Sahasranama prayers are in that it comes Bhishma Vacha, Krishna Vacha, Yudhishthira Vacha, all those people.
Okay. So Jayanti is saying, I don't know if you heard that, Jayanti is saying that the Vishnu Sahasranam, that is written in that part of Mahabharata, that section of Bhishma. The Vishnu Sahasranam comes there in that section. That's
Anushasana Parva in Mahabharata.
Yeah, from that place.
It's like 5,000 years ago it happened there. That battle happened in India with Kurukshetra and all that. But on that time, will the other part of the world exist? Like any other, we're talking about that, some histories are 5,000-10,000 years old.
Yeah.
So that part was exist. Like we're talking about Aborigines here, they're 40,000 year history on that. Or Egypt, maybe 5,000 year old pyramids. So they were exist on that time. And
of course, Actually, those soldiers came from all different parts of the world.
Can you hold for 1 minute, Prabhuji? 1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah, your pictures disappeared.
Probably nearly 1 hour.
It is. There's some other things too.
Yeah, Bhishma only sang the Vishnu Sahasranama in response to Yudhishthira asking, what is the refuge for everyone in this world?
Wow.
Who's the one refuge for all?
Because this gentleman called twice, that's why he answered the phone. He did some puja, and then some priests went there from New Gokula to his place. So he wants to bring the prasad, and he wants to know the time the bhakti tree open.
Okay.
For the house, and he says, "Can you arrange that?" He's my Uber customer. He just gets Uber. Now he's become a devotee.
Oh wow!
So nice.
Well, nice. Very good.
He just, I was just talking that, and then he came to the farm, and then after that he bought a house, and then he called that a pujari to come there, Sachitanya, to please do the havan and all that. The second time he's called another puja. So he said, but I have to, because yesterday was puja, but I said, I can't come because I had a service at the bhakti tree. But he said, I'll bring the prasad. I said, okay, you can bring the prasad. So he called twice. He said, I have to bring the prasad. He don't know where the bhakti tree is. So he from Sydney. So, okay, second time he called that. I said, I better answer it. I don't know what's emergency. He called me. He said, just tell me what time bhakti tree open. I have to bring the prasad for you. I said, okay, 6 o'clock. So he's a good man. Like they sold the house in Sydney, moved to Newcastle, and then they sit one day in my Uber, and now they're visiting temple and all that, and they believe that, like, if we miss that Uber or you don't accept our call, Gulshan, how are we gonna be? We didn't know that anything. I said, now you will come to the temple whether me or someone else. It's not really a credit, but I was there on the spot when you finished the shopping, and then you called Uber, and I was there, and then there was 10 minutes.
Krishna used you as an instrument, so you get the credit of being an instrument.
As an arrangement.
We should call you Gulshan Guru from now on. Gulshan Guru.
No, it's
shouldn't
like
it shouldn't be Gulshan. It should be Gulshan Guru.
It's
yeah. Let's read that verse. 11th chapter, text 33.
Which chapter?
11th chapter, text 33.
11:33.
One of my favorites. Atvamutishtayasholabasva jitva shatrun bunksva rajam samradan mayavate nihatam purvameva nimittam matram bhava savya sachin. Beautiful verse.
Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory, conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement and you, Sabyasachi. Sabyasachi is the Arjun's name, is it?
Yeah, it's another name of Krishna. It means one who shoots the arrows very straight. It's very
Can
good with his arrows.
Arjuna.
Yeah, Arjuna.
Arjuna, yeah.
Yeah,
Can be
right.
an instrument in the foil. It's
Yeah.
It's like you heard about the story of the Khatu Sham.
Who?
Khatu Sham.
Kadusham.
Yeah.
Oh.
Khatu was the name of the village, and he was the one seeing the battle as well. So I listened to the story that my mom was telling that, and Krishna is chopped his neck. He says, "That's it, no." And then the last wish he had, that he said, "I want to see the battle." So he put his name was Babrik. So I think it's mentioned in Bhagavatam as well. I don't know which canto. So he was his head was cut and put at the top of the mountain, and he's seen the whole battle. He said, "All I can see that Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra. That's all. He's the one doing all the jobs. Everybody's seen the Arjuna's arrow to see, winning the battle, conquering that. But he said, I seen only Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra. He's the one doing all. It's all Krishna's arrangement."
Yeah. So that's the fact, like Krishna says in this verse, that it's already destined. It was already destined that all the soldiers were going to die there. Krishna had already decided. And whatever Krishna decides, that definitely will happen, 100%. Whatever Krishna wants, that will happen. So Krishna had decided all the soldiers will die, but he wanted Arjuna to be the instrument for that happening. And he was pointing out, if you be the instrument, you're going to get the credit, you're going to get the glory, you're going to get the fame, like that. But if you don't want to be the instrument, he's going to do it through someone else, and and he's going to miss out. So yeah, we should try to be the instrument for whatever Krishna wants, and then we'll get so much credit for that and glory for that and benefit from that.
But sometimes the glory leads you to fall down. It's very
yeah, I mean, you don't want to get proud of that, but see, the thing is, if you're really Krishna conscious, you won't become proud, because you know that Krishna's doing it. It's not you doing it. You know that it's Krishna doing it. You're just the instrument. So if we think that we're doing it, that's what we call a hankara, a false ego. Because ahankar means, aham means I, and kar comes from the word karta. Karta means doer. So we think I am the doer. That's ahankar. But actually Krishna's the doer, not us. So if you're in Krishna consciousness, you'll realize that it's not me doing the talking. It's not me doing the cooking. It's not me shooting the arrows. It's Krishna's energy. It's Krishna's doing it, and we're just the instrument. So then you won't become puffed up. You'll be humble. But yeah, that danger is always there if you forget Krishna. And we can read that verse.
Which one?
It's a beautiful verse, 18th chapter, text 50, around 50, 58 or something. Let's have a look, 1858, around that.
Yeah, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacle and condition life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost.
Yes, so this is our human life is a great responsibility. You can go either way. If you're Krishna conscious, then you'll overcome all the problems of life and you'll become successful. And if you choose to go down the path of false ego, thinking you're the doer and everything, then you're lost. You're gone, completely finished.
We have got a choice. We can be Mahatma. We can be Hitler.
Yeah. The opposite to Mahatma is called Duratma. Duratma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah, Mahatma, yeah.
The choice, like, but the thing is, if
Or
there is a
Vimudhatma. Often in the word is also used here. Vimudhatma means a special fool. Mudha means a fool, and Vimudha means a special fool. So you're a very special fool.
He's got an Oscar. He's got to award it.
So
it's
yeah,
like
if we remember Krishna, then you're a Mahatma. If you forget Krishna and get overcome by your false ego, then you're a Vimudhatma. Yeah, it's a big fool like that. So,
horse, if there's a horse born there, horse doesn't have a choice to become like a donkey or a lion, because he cannot. He will born horse, he'll die horse. But a human, we have got a choice. We can be Mahatma or Duratma.
Yeah. But in that verse we showed you, 11:33, it's showing here that Krishna's encouraging Arjuna. You fight, and then you'll win glory, and you'll get a flourishing kingdom. You'll get a big kingdom, and like that. So, and you're saying, well, but that's dangerous. Why would Krishna want to give that to a devotee? It's dangerous. But if you remain Krishna conscious, it's not dangerous. It's only if you forget Krishna it's dangerous. And Krishna actually wants the devotee to be happy in the material world. He doesn't want us to be miserable. You think Krishna wants us to be just poor and starving and have nothing? And no, Krishna wants us to have, the sense gratification we require and everything like that. He wants us to be happy. But, if we misuse those things, obviously he'll take it away. And that's why he's known as Hari. Hari means he takes away anything that's bad for the devotee. He takes it away. But we see that in the life of Sudama, Krishna's friend Sudama, right?
Yeah.
He was very poor, right? And actually his wife sent him to Dwarka to see Krishna, to ask Krishna, can you please give us some more facilities, because we don't have even enough to eat. And he was skinny and everything, and his wife was worried about him and everything. So he didn't want to ask anything from Krishna, but he took it as an opportunity that at least I'll get to have darshan of Krishna. So he was actually excited about going there just to see Krishna.
One thing, when he was very poor, but he was Krishna's childhood friend, Krishna probably knows that he is very poor, he needs help, but Krishna didn't help him until he get to seeking for help. He was a Brahmana, he was begging a need. Back in olden days, Brahmanas doesn't work, don't get paid, and then he's got very poor life. But the Krishna knew, like Krishna is like How come?
How can you say Krishna didn't help him? He was crying every day in love of Godhead. So he was on the topmost level of ecstasy. So what more do you want? I mean, his body was skinny, but his soul was in ecstasy. So what is important? So, but Krishna also has, I'm sure, made that arrangement to show us that if you're a Krishna conscious, it doesn't matter what your material situation is. Whether you're poor, you can be Krishna conscious, or whether you're rich, you can be Krishna conscious. Krishna also needs to show us those kind of lessons. It doesn't matter on what your material situation is. You can be Krishna conscious in any situation. You could be the poorest person in the world, or you could be the richest person in the world. And Sudama, he experienced both. But actually the most difficult situation to be Krishna conscious in is to be the most richest person. Like you said, you can be proud. You can become proud. But that's what I've been telling you the story for, to show you that it is possible to have fame and glory and riches and everything and still be Krishna conscious and not get overpowered by the false ego. Because so he went to Dwarka and he forgot to ask Krishna for anything. Even it's the culture that if you're going to go and visit some friend or family, you should take a gift. You don't go empty-handed.
Yeah.
So they didn't have any money or anything. So they managed to get some broken rice from the neighbor, as you know, and he carried that on a pouch, on his waist.
Has to give it to Krishna.
But he was too embarrassed. And Krishna said to him when he arrived that, oh, did you bring me anything? And he was too embarrassed. And then Krishna, he snatched it off him. He snatched the pouch. And he wanted to try to take it back. It's not good enough for Krishna. You know, Krishna, he's being, you know, Lakshmi Sahasrasada Sambrahma Savimanam. He's being served by thousands of goddess of fortune. And they're giving him chapan bhog every day, you know, wonderful feast cooked in ghee and everything. Well, how can you give him broken rice? So he was thinking like that. It's not good enough.
Have you had a Mahaprasadam at that Puri temple? Have you had?
Yeah. Jayanti got it for me. Yeah, Jayanti got it for me. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
What's that one is? Mahaprasadam. What is that?
What do you mean? What is that? What do you mean?
Yeah, that's the broken rice.
I didn't particularly notice that. I mean, we got rice, but
No. They give it in the red color cloth.
Oh, okay. Jayanti's saying you're talking about Nirmalia. I'm not sure if I had the Nirmalia.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've had that. Yeah, because that's in many temples they have the Nirmalia, the broken rice of Jagannath.
That was broken rice. This is remember Sudama.
Oh, to remember Sudama. Okay, yeah. So then Krishna snatched that pouch and then he took one mouthful. And he was relishing it. He was enjoying it because it's coming from his loving devotee. And then he went to get a second one. And Rukmini stopped him. Rukmini stopped him from eating it. She said, Rukmini said, who's Lakshmi Devi.
He stopped on the third one.
Oh, I think I read the second one. But okay, anyway, whatever. Whether it's the second or third mouthful. She said, if you take any more gift from him, food from him, with all of my wealth that I possess, I can't pay him back. That just shows how indebted.
Yes.
You know, that how indebted Krishna feels to anyone that renders service to him and has to pay him back, you know. And how much the devotee gets back is far more than what we give. What we give is very small, and what Krishna gives back through Lakshmi is much, much more.
It's a story famous in there because Sudama was a Brahmin and Krishna was Kshatriya. And when the Brahmin comes home, they wash the feet. Kshatriya has to wash the feet for the Brahmin. So the Krishna washed the feet of Sudama, but he did not even touch the bowl. He washed the feet from his tears. Tears. He washed all there because of love, ecstasy for his for that. He said he didn't even touch the bowl of the water. Wash the feet, the eyes that drip in there, all the tears.
Wow. Yeah. So he was in so much ecstasy, and then the time came he left, and then he hadn't asked for anything, and then he was just remembering Krishna with love all the way back. And then when he got back to where his house was, he couldn't find his house.
Oh, yes.
Because his house was just a shack and he couldn't find it. Where his house used to be, there was this huge palace. And then these beautiful women came out of the house and handsome men came out of the house. And finally, the most beautiful woman came out, and she was like Lakshmi Devi, and that was actually his wife. But it
doesn't
said,
let him go for 2 days. He says, stay here, don't go back, and then stay here, almost 28 days or something. And when he went back, he couldn't recognize anything.
No, I couldn't recognize. Yeah.
That's right. Krishna
but
did
it
all
said, that. He realized that all of this, his new beautiful house and beautiful wife was transformed, everything, and maid servants, everything, was a gift, the prasadam of Krishna. It was all prasadam of Krishna. And he was always in ecstasy, you know, so grateful to Krishna. And realizing this is, It's not for his enjoyment, not for his sense gratification, but all of this facility Krishna had given for Krishna's service. You know, so he engaged everything in Krishna's service. So this is the process of how we can, you know, Krishna gives some material benefits to the devotees, but if they're a pure devotee, they use it all in Krishna's service. And we see that also in the life of Prabhupada, that he had access to so much money and limousines and beautiful temples and everything, beautiful clothes and jewelry and everything, but he never used any of it for his personal enjoyment, but he used it all in Krishna's service. And there's so many examples of how Prabhupada was so detached from all these material things. Like if a disciple gave Prabhupada a ring, right? That ring would be gold with some jewels and everything like that. So they would give Prabhupada a ring, and you know what Prabhupada would do?
What?
There would be other rings on his hand. So he would take the ring off his hand and give it to the devotee. You know, so a devotee is giving him a ring, but Prabhupada immediately takes the ring off his hand and gives him another ring.
Oh, okay.
So the devotee is giving a ring and he's getting a ring. But the ring he's getting is much better because it's prasadam. It's Guru Prasad. You know, so like that. You know, Prabhupada would often give expensive jackets to the devotees. You know, people gave him jackets or chadar and, you know, so many things. And Prabhupada would just give it. He would say, oh, go to my Almira, I think they called it, Almira, like a big cupboard, and take out whatever clothes you want. You know, he would just say, you know, take whatever clothes you want. So he wasn't attached to anything. He just used everything in Krishna's service. And he wasn't attached to anything. So Krishna likes to give to his devotees that he's pleased with their service, and they use it in his, you know, in a proper way without getting puffed up with false ego. But those that are not very mature, like we call the Kanista Adhikari, neophyte devotee, then, you know, Krishna might keep them poor because he knows that if they get too much, then they'll get puffed up and forget Krishna and everything's not good for them. And if someone does get the material benefits, and then if they do get puffed up, then Krishna may take it away. Krishna may take it away.
I was thinking the other day, average person work how many years in their life? If they start working on the age of 25 and retire on 60, they work 35 years. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So 35 years, and then they accumulate their superannuation and salary and the house and everything in there. And a Kalya Prabhu gives 35 years to the temple. How good is that?
Yeah.
And don't need to worry about the super or any benefit or anything in their salary and stuff like that.
Yes.
And the house things there. That is devotional service, man. It's like entire, like I couldn't do it, like, you know, it's entire my life or 35 years worth of earning anything, property, whatever, they're just doing the temple there. That is big thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, it's just it's like Radhanath Maharaj left a comfortable life in Chicago and living in India, and then mosquito biting and cleanliness is not there. And for what? See, for Krishna.
Yeah.
And we left India just for comfortable life to come to Australia. That is.
But that's also a good example of Sudama, that he wasn't a brahmachari or sannyasi or anything. He was a grihastha living with wife like that, but he was a pure devotee. So that's like I say, you know, being Krishna conscious is not dependent on any material situation. So whether you're poor or whether you're rich or whether you're married or whether you're single, it doesn't, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're young, whether you're old, you know, like Prahlad Maharaj, right? He's 5. Dhruva Maharaj, 5, you know, or Advaitacharya, you could say he was old. Actually, he's Mahavishnu incarnation, but so he's not an ordinary person. But it seemed like he's old. You know, he had a beard and everything like that. and other devotees, old like that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what age you are or how financial you are or whatever like that. But the main thing is should have love for Krishna. This is the thing. And love for Krishna is the nature of the soul. It's called in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it said, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema.
Yeah.
Sadyakabunoi. So that Krishna Prem, love for Krishna, it's eternally in the heart, Nitya Siddha. It's eternally present in the heart, love for Krishna. That's the nature of every soul, to have love for Krishna. The only thing is that it needs to be reawakened. It needs to be reawakened because we're covered by the Maya. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, as they would walk through Nadia, through Mayapur early in the morning and playing instruments and singing. And there's one beautiful song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Jeev Jago, Gora Chandra Bole, Kota Nidra Jayo Maya, Pisachia Kole. So what that means is that Jeev Jago, wake up, sleeping soul, wake up, sleeping soul. You are asleep in the lap of the witch called Maya. So Lord Chaitanya was calling out loudly, Jeev Jago. So we're just we have love for Krishna, but we're like asleep, in Maya. Maya has put us into this state of like deep sleep. So we need to wake up. So how to wake up? So that verse says, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhukabunoi, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitti Karya Doi. So that love of Krishna is in the heart, but it just has to be reawakened. How do you reawaken it? Shravanadi, through hearing. When we hear about Krishna. Like when you see the devotees chanting on the streets, Hare Krishna, when that sound enters in the ear, they're reawakened. Or like, your friend jumped in the Uber car and you talk about Krishna, and that reawakened him and his family to Krishna consciousness, like that. So when you meet a devotee and you hear them chant or talk about Krishna, then that reawakens that love for Krishna that's dormant in the heart. Otherwise, how did I become Krishna conscious? I'm not Indian. I wasn't brought up a Hindu. Just I associated with a devotee and they talked to me about Krishna. And that love reawakened. And I tell you that the change in my life was overnight. Means one day I was in Maya, the next day I was Krishna conscious. From one day to the next. When I met the devotee, then I went to the temple and I never looked back. I chanted Hare Krishna every day from that first day when I met a devotee and went to the temple. From that day, and looking back more than 30 years, from that day of been in Krishna consciousness ever since I met that devotee. So I went from being a full-on materialist to Krishna conscious just from one day to the next. So it's already there. Otherwise, how is that possible? It doesn't make any sense if you look at it materially. How could that happen? It could only happen if already Krishna consciousness is there in the heart. It's nothing you get from outside. People often, like a visitor yesterday said, did you become a Hare Krishna in India? I said, no, I became a Hare Krishna in New Zealand. Because that's what they think, they think you're getting Krishna consciousness from outside. But it's already inside.
It's a discovery. It's not an invention.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said to people. Often that in the car, they ask for the tail there. They say, why you have a red tail? and I explained that it's not a red tail. It's a Hare Krishna. Have you seen sometime chanting on the street? He said, yeah. I said, that's what it is. I followed that. And then they say, okay, where is the temple? Temple's here. So it's too far. I said, come. And my favorite slogan is that, I said, any day you feel like lazy to cook, just come have a $10 meal in Bhakti Tree. We have a rice and curry for $10.
Okay.
guarantee you will not disappoint it. Because every doctor in the world saying eat more vegetable. That's what we sell, vegetable. I say anytime you feel lazy to cook, just Hare Krishna, they come in there, $10, and I can guarantee. And if you're disappointed, I'll give you money back. Guarantee.
Nice.
But nobody asks for money back. Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. It's okay.
Yeah.
But at least, like I did in Newcastle, more than 16,000 trips for last 6 years. So if the people ask, I explain that. I mean, some of them, they know there is some Hare Krishna and there is the one Hare Krishna Uber driver. So
you did 16,000 trips in the Uber
for last 6 years.
Wow.
So I tell some people ask that, I tell them, and then if they don't know now, eventually in future, if they know, they remember that, oh yes, Uber driver, he had that pony and then he was telling about that. They will come.
Yeah.
It's not going to waste. Definitely.
Actually, it's amazing that I'm sure the reason why so many people have this rat tail kind of hair is it's because of the devotees. People have seen the devotees with this hairstyle, and they also adopt the similar. Because I see many people here in New Zealand, many people with the Sika. Sometimes it starts a little bit lower down.
They're not Krishna conscious.
I know, but the thing is that they're attracted to the way the devotee is looking. I want to have a similar haircut to them, so they. Because I can't remember if you go back 10 years, 20 years that many people had this kind of haircut, but now it's very common. People have like a shika.
But in Newcastle, I'm the only driver has got a shika, so. They know that because now I've got more than 16,000 trips done in Newcastle. So I've got a repeat customer now.
Yeah.
Because I pick up the people more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times.
Yes.
Because Newcastle is a small town.
Yeah.
And they know that. He said, oh yeah, it's Hare Krishna. I said, yeah. You didn't come for a meal. Because all I say, come for a meal, a bhakti tree.
Yeah.
That's all I come. Because I don't ask him to come straight to the temple. Temple is too far, and then they get scared if I'm trying to convert them. All I say,
this is the Prabhupada said, prasadam is our secret weapon.
Prasadam. Every time you feel lazy to cook, just come $10 meal, rice and curry, and then when they come, and then I can tell you 100% people, no one disappointed. Everybody said curry is so great. I said, look at this chef. Say thank you to that. He's cooking that for Krishna for 28 years. And he says, why the food is very good? I said, well, that first thing is not a food, because first plate goes to Jagannath. You can see the Jagannath here. And after that, everybody eats. We have to gratitude to Jagannath first, then we eat. That's why it's blessing in this food. That's why the taste different. You go to other Indian restaurant, may not be that taste. Definitely. So he said, what is it? I said, that's the mercy of Krishna. Simple.
And we experienced that actually, because we had my kids were here with us, and we had to drop them at the airport and that. So we actually stayed in a hotel overnight and took them to the airport the next day. But that night we went to an Indian restaurant, and both my wife and I were very dissatisfied with the food. Very dissatisfied. It was, Indian, cooked by Indians, vegetarian food, but it didn't have the taste of prasadam.
Because you had a higher taste.
I know. We're going from the higher taste to the lower taste, yeah. But you realize that prasadam is so special. It's so much better, different than ordinary food. Ordinary food, it doesn't have that taste that prasadam has.
Yeah. Even today was kidney bean and some pumpkin and some potato vegetable in there. And then people were saying that, man, and they were saying kidney bean. I said, I write it, it's the best source of iron, kidney bean.
Yeah.
And must eat that. And they said, that's very different. I said, well, different is mercy. There's no other way to explain it. And then they look in the bookshop and they buy 1 or 2, bunch of incense. Sometimes they buy that. They say, yeah, that's good. And then I would have to promote him for a first Tuesday of the Kirtan. Now he's been stopped. So I said, well, you can come to temple. That'll be, you don't even need to pay $10 in the temple. It's a free.
Yeah. So you pay $10 for petrol and you get a free meal. So it ends up the same.
Lunch break, just register that and free meal. Bring the kids. They can play with the peacock and feed the cows.
Yes.
And it'll be wonderful. There's one taxi driver. I took him there. He was African.
Oh, yeah.
And he was asking Kalia Prabhu, you have got a plenty of cows. Why can't you serve a beef?
Oh my God, ignorant. Yeah, ignorant.
Yeah. I said, oh my God. He said, Gulshan, you bring this? I said, yeah. But he was a African taxi driver. He doesn't know anything. I say he's ignorant. He doesn't.
You can't blame him. You can't blame him, but yeah, you have to educate them. That's all.
Yeah, that's what I bring.
Actually, once you become Krishna conscious, what is your purpose in this world? What is your purpose? Because, like, according to this verse, right, today, you're already going to go back to Godhead at the end of this lifetime. So what else have you got to do? This is what we've got to do. You got to help all those other people that are not Krishna conscious to try to enlighten them, because they're ignorant. Like, they think food is cows and everything like that. Even like my kids, right? My kids, they have a little bit of knowledge. They know they shouldn't eat cows, so they don't eat cows, but they eat some chicken.
Yeah.
And we have chickens here, so I make a special point to show them the chickens. This is what you're eating, you know. And then they start to think that these chickens are so nice, I don't want to eat them. So they themselves, once they have a bit of knowledge, they can understand that it's not right to eat chickens, because, you know, they're a living thing. They have feelings. My son now, he's 17, he's taller than me, and he would spend like half an hour or more just sitting in front of the chicken's cage, just looking at the chickens. I think he was meditating on, you know, that I don't want to eat them anymore, you know, because now I know what they are, you know.
You know, in the school they take the excursion. If they take the excursion in the school to an abattoir, I guarantee half of the students will not eat meat. Guarantee that. If they visit that to abattoir and to see how they are killing that cows, and that's what you're getting a burger.
Yeah, one of the Beatles, he said once that if a slaughterhouse had glass walls, then nobody would eat meat. If you could see what was going on in there, but because, you know, people are ignorant, so they continue. But that's our duty, is to remove the ignorance. That's our purpose. You don't have any other job other than to remove people's ignorance. And
the same like that. If you're eating and you know your neighbor is hungry, you definitely will offer a food, isn't it? It's no point for you eating and the person sitting next door is hungry. So it's the same thing. If you know something and next person does not know, you have to tell him.
Yes.
This is the way. And then it's to him. He can adopt today or tomorrow or next life or this life. It's up to Krishna.
Yeah. That's it. You wanted to say something, Jayanti?
Yes.
I was saying, while they are here, they are saying, oh, this poor chicken, this thing, that thing. But once,
Haribol.
No, I'm saying, while the children were here, they were like, oh, poor chickens, all that. But once we were in the restaurant, all that was forgotten. They didn't have chicken and all. They were eating vegetarian.
Yeah.
But but the way they were talking was, you know, it's association. See, once they go back to their own lives there.
That's right.
Yeah, it'll be soon forgotten, you know. Hopefully there is still one trace left. Oh, we went there and we did see those chickens, and hopefully that's there. By Krishna's grace, if that intelligence is retained, then that is good. But otherwise, we'll have to wait 1 more year when they come back.
But what I think, if somebody had a prasadam, has said Mahamantra and a dance from the Jagannath, he will come, whether today, tomorrow, this life, next life, guarantee. without any fail. He will come. I don't know the time, but he will come.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Yes.
Because that's mercy for the Krishna. Once you sing it, dance it, eating, done. No escape.
Yes.
Wow. That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
No, that's true. Yeah. Like I said, even a little bit of service, like someone goes to Rath Yatra once, Krishna never forgets, and he'll help that soul go back to Godhead. Yeah. So our mission is to give everyone that opportunity at least once in their life to take prasadam, at least once in their life to hear the holy name, at least once in their life to hold one of Prabhupada's books.
One of my friend, he's got brain tumor. At same time, I had my bowel cancer, and he had a juice shop next to my Gloria Jeans. And his wife was telling me, "Can you pray for my husband?" And I said, "At the moment, I'm praying for myself." He said, "What happened to you?" I said, "My husband got a cancer as well." So I said, "I've got a bowel cancer." So we meet each other in the chemo. Mother had chemo. I seen him. We were friends before, even like before we had a cancer. We were friends, and then we become seen in the chemo. We become more friend, and then he's he's going really down the hill. So I said to his wife that, "Can you bring him once at a bhakti train?" He said, "Oh, he doesn't want to go anywhere." I said, "Just bring once." And then there was a Friday. I said, "Bring him on Friday, and he can hear the chanting and have some prasadam." I said, "Oh, what's that gonna do?" I said, "Just bring it." And then he passed away actually after a year, but I'm glad he came to Bhakti Tree and listened that and had a prasadam. And he said, "Oh, it's very nice. What is that?" I was explaining that a little bit, but he was just like very weak. Means he was about to go to what do you call that? What's in the hospital that
palliative care.
Palliative care.
Palliative care. He was going there next month event. So I went to see him in the palliative care as well. But I'm glad he came to Bhakti Tree and listened to Kirtan. He was watching that and then had a prasadam. But next life, hopefully, that's up to Krishna.
Yeah.
But very, very important. So comes to that. And
actually,
Mataji was correct. Because when my daughter comes, oh, she liked the Bhakti Tree. Yes, this paneer is good. That. When she back to Sydney, I don't know what she been eating.
Yeah.
Association. And I asked him, "You want to eat something else, a part of Bhakti Tree?" No. I want Bhakti Tree. I like it. And I said, "Okay." But when she go back to, and then she was asking me last time she came 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
And I mentioned that a couple of years ago, LSD after meal. And she said, oh, you told me that LSD. How do I do that? I said, left side down. When you had a meal, left side down for 10-15 minutes. He said, okay. So she's listening, but listening in her own terms. Not that I want to tell. She listens in her own time and okay. And she got to be 21 this year.
Yeah. Well, that's it. So we try to help people come out of ignorance, but that's another part of that is that we have to be patient.
Yes.
We have to be patient.
There's
a saying, right? You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah.
So you just have to be a preacher has to be very patient with people, and you have to love them unconditionally. Whether they become Krishna or not, you still love them. And that's what attracts people, that love. That is the main thing that everyone is looking for, that pure love. So we should love people unconditionally, whether they're a devotee or not, we still love them. And that is what is going to attract them.
There is the problem, Prabhuji. What happened when I'm on the Bhakti train? If somebody comes there and asks him that, I didn't understand this menu, can you explain? And I will explain everything. Oh, this thing, you will get full plate that, you will get that. If you're not that hungry, you can go for smaller version. And if you are thinking for nibble, you can go for pakoras, veggie nugget, or if you want something different, dal and chapati will be nice. Explain everything. And if somebody trying to be smart, I say, well, that's the menu. And I just stand there for order. And that's not the right attitude, but I cannot help myself. If somebody trying to be so smart, oh, what is it? What's that? What's this curry? What's that? And then I just look at him and I said, well, everything mentioned in the menu, what would you like? Take a look at the menu. But if somebody surrender to me, I will lay down in front of him. Everything, I can just even give it a free papadam, because he just given that to please help me. And somebody say, oh, what is it? Oh, what do you eat with this? And then, like, there, and I should have to be treated both the same, but I can't. I don't know. What can I do?
No, yeah.
It's
compassion. Karunaya. Karunaya means compassionate.
Yeah. It's like if somebody,
like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavana. You know what is Patita Pavana?
Yeah, Patita Pavan Sitaram.
Yeah. Patita means very fallen down, very low, very sinful. And Pavan means delivering them, lifting them up, delivering them. This is the Pavana. Pavana is lifting, delivering. And Patita is very bad person.
Last month when I hired the campman, motorhome, I went to the lady and I said, look, I don't know anything and I never hired it. Whatever you think I need to know, please explain, because I'm just the new in that. I'll just complete surrender in front of her. Oh my God. She just like almost crying. And I said, look, I don't know anything. Please help me. Whatever you can dictate me, I'll follow the instructions, because I don't know anything. She said, oh,
but what you're saying, that's the ideal, but you can't expect that. And it's not only that you treat people nicely if they're behaving in an ideal way. Actually, a devotee should, like we say, Trinada Pisanashena Tororiva Sushnana Amanina Manidena Kirtaniya Sarahari. To be more humble than the grass, tolerant than the tree, give all respect to others. Don't expect any respect in return. In such a state of mind, one can always chant the holy name of the Lord. So we should always give respect to others, even if they don't respect. Don't expect it. If people respect us, that's okay. But even if people don't respect us, we should still treat them with all respect. So all respect is for everyone, whether you spit on me or whether you embrace me and fall at my feet and everything like that. So that's not easy. That's not easy. But that is the behavior of the pure devotee. And if you have that behavior, there's nothing on this earth that can stop your chanting.
That's right.
But if you don't have that behavior, then good luck. Your chanting may stop after a day or a week or a year or whatever. Because as soon as you don't get the respect you want, you'll give up. You know? As soon as people treat you like crap and stand on you, you'll give up.
I don't want any respect in return, but it's like when they become a smart ass, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I just feel like, come on, I'm just like humble servant. And then they're thinking like, it's a little pony guy. And like, what he's going to tell me what's his food and things like that. And then I'm just looking at him very nicely. And I said, okay, you can.
No, but I mean, I can understand what you're saying, but you have to be careful too, not to judge others too much by their external behavior or whatever. We're trained, if through reading this philosophy, Bhagavad Gita and that, we should see the other people as the soul, not just the body. Like 518, right? 518, Vidyavanaya Sampane. That, a self-realized soul sees the brahmana and the elephant and the cow and the dog eater all the same. Samadarshana. We see everyone the same. So this is the spiritual vision we should try to develop. That even like I have one of my neighbors is a complete drunk alcoholic, and he lives like worse than a pig. A pig is cleaner than him. But still, every time I meet him, I deal with him very respectfully. And actually, it's unbelievable. Even though he's so degraded, his brother is as high up as you can get.
I
And
know.
the Gaudiya Math, which is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's organization. He's a sannyasi. His
Yeah.
brother's a sannyasi, and this guy's worse than a pig. You know, but he's Krishna conscious. Like he says Hare Krishna, and he knows about Krishna and everything, but he's just so fallen and so degraded in his consciousness and everything. But still, Krishna has a little corner in his brain. Krishna's there. So yeah, we should treat everyone with respect.
Yeah.
And
It's
otherwise it's very hard also to make people Krishna conscious.
Yeah.
We know, we expect they're going to deal with us with false ego, right? That they're going to act out of false ego. They're puffed up, they're arrogant, whatever, and they push us down and everything like that. So that we already should expect that. But if we also fire back our false ego, then how are we going to generate some Krishna consciousness out of that? Means neither will they become Krishna conscious, and neither we have lost our Krishna conscious. That, you know, they deal roughly with us and we deal roughly with them. Then where's the Krishna consciousness?
I don't say anything bad. That I just been quiet, and I'm waiting for order. I mean,
Okay.
I just been quiet. I don't really argue nothing. I just been quiet.
Okay.
Like, you know, there's the two ways. Like, you know, when you don't like, either you fight or you flight. So I'm on the flight mode. I don't fight. I'm on the flight mode. I just stand there. Okay, what would you like? And what's in there? I said, yeah, self-explanatory menu there. You can take the menu to the table, read it, and when you'd like to order, please come to the top.
I mean, if they ask you some question, you should try to answer them.
But I can see some people are so much vulnerable, and I feel like to give them a meal free. That much. Some old people comes there. Oh my God. I feel like I just comparing to same as my mother going somewhere to having a meal.
Yeah.
That's.
But I mean, but you can't expect that everyone's going to be humble and surrendered. That's the thing, you know. Otherwise your preaching is going to be very limited because there's only like 0.1% like that, and the other 99.9 Gulshan is not going to be able to be their guru. Yeah, if you're a guru, you have to be guru to everyone, not just to the patita, you know, like that.
It's like you're taking your car out from your home only when all the lights are green. Then I'll take the car out. It's not going to happen.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway, it's all part of the learning curve. Anyway, great to spend some time with you as always. Okay, you have a great week.